Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. So today we're going to learn about gradient of straight line, chapter 10 MOE textbook. Okay, so before we go further about straight line, what is it, right? We should know about gradient. Okay, what is gradient? So for this topic, I will explain more what the gradient is and what is the relationship between the steepness and also the value for gradient, and then the formula for gradient, and then we learn the value of gradient based on the situation. Okay, so first gradient. Okay, we got the first part of gradient, which describe gradient and direction of inclination based on real life situation, and then explain the meaning of gradient as ratio of vertical distance to horizontal distance. Okay, steepness and inclination area. Okay, steepness tu, what does it mean by steepness? Okay, cerun. Cerun. Kalau kita panjat bukit ke, daki bukit ke, cycling tempat apa, kalau jalan tu macam cerun sangat kan. So you know that susah bila you nak mendaki, and then senang bila you nak menuruni. Okay, so this diagram shows a hilly area traveled by Farid and Afif when they went mountain biking. Okay, they found it difficult to continue their ride when they were going up Route C. Okay, however, when they were going down Route E, their bicycle moved faster. Why this situation occur? Okay, so bila you makin naik, makin tinggi sampai dekat C, you akan rasa penat nak naik dia kan. Awal-awal tu makin okey lagi. Ini kerana bila you capai dekat C tu, kalau you pernah hiking, sebenarnya you dah dia punya tahap inclination dia tu makin steep. Okay, makin lama makin steep. Banyak dia makin cerun lah you nak naik tu. Okay, daripada nak turun makin mudah bila macam you turun you punya apa tu mainan tu, lupalah saya. Okay, yang ada mainan dekat ada lama tak keluar kan. Okay, that kind of tu bila dia tu gelonsor tu sorry, slide. Okay, slide dia tu, slide kan senang kan, nak naik tu you susah sikit. Okay, so benda ni, steepness ni akan ada kaitan dengan gradient. Okay, inclination pun akan ada juga relationship dia. Okay, the steepness of a straight line is determined by its gradient value. Okay, the greater the gradient value, the steeper the slope of the straight line. The negative or positive gradient values determines the direction of the slope of the straight line. Okay, so untuk topik ni, you kena tahu what does it mean by steepness. Okay, and then inclination, and then gradient, bermaksud gradient, and then the slope. Slope tu, okay, contoh dia slope of the straight line, maknanya kita ada satu straight line, this is what we call as straight line. This one, okay, so tahap awak nak ukur, nak tengok dia punya sengit dia tu, sengit dia lah because itu ialah slope dia lah, the slope of the straight line. Okay, so negative or positive akan menentukan direction dia. So kalau dia mendaki macam ni, okay, to the right, okay, we call ini ialah positive. Okay, positive gradient. Okay, kalau dia menuruni macam ni, turun bukit and also turun tangga macam ni, ini ialah direction dia lah negative gradient. Okay, so we go, what is the relationship between the value, the steepness, and also the gradient. Okay, so look at the diagram on the side. Compare the direction of the tilt and the steepness of the MN line with KL. Draw conclusions from both diagrams. Okay, so from stair here, we can see this is angle 30 degree located at the stairs and angle 45 degrees located at escalator. Okay, what is the relationship between the angle and also the steepness? Okay, the line KL has a higher inclination than the line MN. Okay, Bila steepness dia tinggi, kita call as higher inclination. Okay, the larger the angle value, the higher the gradient value. Thus, line KL is steeper than ML. Okay, so benda pertama ialah awak tengok value dia, angle. Okay, kalau angle dia tinggi, so apa akan jadi? Inclination dia pun akan lagi higher lah. Inclination higher. Okay, and then bila inclination higher, angle tinggi, what does it mean by steeper? Steepness dia akan greater juga. Okay, so kalau paling-paling jalan paling-paling tu ialah 90 degree lah kot. 90 degree macam ni. So macam mana you nak naik tangga, you nak naik, nak panjat, nak hiking ni kan? Okay. So kat sini line that has steeper gradient has a greater value. Makin tinggi value makin tinggi value angle, makin steeper the value for gradient. Okay. So sini bila angle tinggi, inclination tinggi, steepness tinggi, so gradient, value of gradient akan greater juga. So this is the relationship dia. Okay. So next we go to horizontal and vertical distance. Okay, before that, I want to give you one information about Baldwin Strait. Okay, Baldwin Strait in Dunedin, New Zealand, is located in the residential suburb of Northeast Valley. Okay, sekali nak tahu dekat Dunedin ni, New Zealand ni, jalan ni ialah the steepest street in the world. Okay, the angle is 35%, lebih kurang 35 cm lah. Maknanya tak silap saya ialah 45. Okay, and then saya dah pernah pergi ke tempat ni, jalan ni, dan saya pernah lalu jalan ni. Memang saya dapatlah sijil yang mengatakan dah melalui steepest street. Maka kiri kanan dia memang memang perumahan. Okay, memang sangat penat you nak naik jalan ni. Dekat New Zealand, Dunedin, New Zealand. Waktu ni saya belajar dekat New Zealand dan saya pergi berjalan lah, pergi melancong berjalan-jalan kan, dekat kawasan Dunedin ni, dan saya pergi ke jalan ni dan memang sangat steep. Penat awak, penat kalau you nak jalan kaki macam ni je. Okay, so itu untuk additional lah, maknanya angle dia kat situ lah 45 sorry, angle dia 45 dah memang sangat susah you nak berjalan. Okay, so gradient, what is gradient? Actually, okay, a gradient is the ratio of the vertical distance to the horizontal distance. So, part ni kita dah belajar dalam topik coordinates, okay, dalam topik distance. We know what is vertical distance and what is the horizontal distance. Okay, so, formula gradient is actually, you can see here, vertical distance divide to horizontal distance. Okay, and then M here is represent gradient of straight line. M is its symbol for gradient. Okay, so please remember that if next time when I use the letter M, actually it's represent gradient. Okay, so you can see from example B. Okay, so we have this part. We want to find the vertical distance, which is 4 units, and also the horizontal distance, which is 5 units. Same goes to diagram A. Okay. So next we go to the example 3. From the following diagrams, specify the gradient of the straight line PQ and BC. Describe the steepness of line PQ and BC. Okay, the vertical distance for A is 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 units here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then horizontal distance, we have 1, 2, 3 units. So the gradient of PQ is 4/3. Okay. For B, okay, vertical distance is 2 units. Yes, 1, 2. And then the horizontal distance, we have 1, 2, 3. So the gradient here is 2/3. Then we can see that which one is the more steepness. Okay, the answer is A, because the value gradient of A of PQ is greater than gradient of BC. So the greater the value of gradient, the greater the steepness of line. Okay. So next, formula of gradient of a straight line on Cartesian plane. So that one before ni, this one kita tak ada point dia bagi. So kita just cari dia punya vertical distance bagi dengan horizontal distance. So now, when there are a few points on line, on a straight line, and it's lie on a Cartesian plane. So bila lies on Cartesian plane, it has its own coordinates. Okay, bila ada coordinates means that you can use coordinates and then substitute into the formula gradient to find the value for gradient of that straight line. Okay, so for this part, m gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So x2, y2, x1, y1, that's refer to the coordinates of point that lies on the straight line. Okay, you tak boleh simply take another point luar daripada kawasan straight line. Okay, mesti, okay, wajib, compulsory to take any line, tak kisah, any points as long as they lie on the straight line yang dia nak tu. Okay, macam A dengan B ni dah memang ada atas line ni, memang lie on this line. So, kita akan use this point. Okay, so another formula for gradient is gradient is equal to negative. It has negative, so please beware of this part. Okay, negative y-intercept over x-intercept. Okay, what does it mean by y-intercept and x-intercept? Y-intercept is intersection point between the straight line and the y-axis. Okay, so bila ada satu point that lies on y-axis and then that line intersect to that point, so the value of y coordinates here is actually equal to the y-intercept. Let's say we have 5 here, so value for y-intercept for this line is equal to 5. Okay, how about x-intercept? X-intercept is the intersection point between the straight line and the point and the x-axis that touch the point that lies on the x-axis. Okay, kalau you masih ingat dalam topik coordinates, I already explained about the point that lies on x-axis and also y-axis. Bila point lies on y-axis, x dia akan jadi kosong. Bila ada point lies on x-axis, y dia akan jadi kosong. Okay, and then bila pula ada satu line touch pula pada point tu, okay, so itu ialah y-intercept pada y-axis, dia touch pula, dia intersect pada x-axis, itu we call it as x-intercept. Okay, so we get to the example 4. Determine the gradient of the following coordinates point. So ini dia bagi coordinates point. So bila coordinates point, you can use the formula for gradient, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, perasan kalau you tengok y2 minus y1 is actually refer kepada vertical distance, and also x2 minus x1 is actually horizontal distance. Okay, so that is how actually we derive the formula for gradient. Vertical distance divided to the horizontal distance. Okay, so if you have given points of coordinates, you just substitute into the formula, and then you will get the value for gradient. This is positive gradient and this one is negative gradient. Okay, we go to the example 5. Okay, so example 5, we have a line that intersect to the y-axis here and also intersect to the x-axis. When there is a line that intersect the y-axis, we call it as y-intercept. This is y-intercept. And then line that intersect the x-axis, we call it as x-intercept, which is negative 5. So we use the formula gradient is equal to negative y-intercept over x-intercept. So we take y-intercept here 8 and divide to the negative 5 and make sure that the formula is negative here. So the answer is 8 over 5. Okay. Kalau you tengok kat sini, this direction to the right. So this part memang positive lah. Okay, direction dia to the right. Okay. So we go to the B, okay, intersection, 4, y-intercept is 4, and then x-intercept is 3. And then we put negative, and take the y-intercept 4, and then over 3. So this is a negative gradient. As you can see, the direction of inclination is going down, which is go to the left.